So I wanted to start by doing just a quick show a bit of how it is and what it's about. So you have like just a general scenario, and then just ask away any questions you would like to have. Okay,
Okay.
Cool.
sounds good. All right, perfect. Okay, so the idea overall is to have a great amount of tools to help each and every person to first of all help themselves and help any other people as a healer, and learning some modalities and having a really good tool set to help people in a variety of ways. So anywhere from you can say the most basic things like help people with anxiety, help people change habits. So you can say more conventional ways, but then going deeper into healing trauma, inner child, and going further and going into help them experience past lives, going into learning how to connect with themselves, with their greater self, with their higher self, and further beyond all aspects of their being in all the densities and all parts, and really just allowing them to expand their consciousness. So there's two main elements: is it healing, helping people heal and transform and transcend from pain and things that hold them back, and then those things that expand and those connecting with themselves, opening to guidance and spirit guides, and learning how to connect Akashic records and all that stuff that is expansive, that you can learn more and connect with wisdom, and all the deeper stuff. So all that is available in this modality. So you can really help people on so many levels and so many points, and really meeting them in where they are on their journey. And that's the important part, because I guess forcing like, oh, yeah, I'll do this and I'll force you to do that. No, it's not about that. It's really meeting the person where they're at, what are their biggest need right now, and then you can work on them and help them continue on their journey and progress to wherever they want to progress to. Okay, it really is their journey that you are supporting them in. All right. So let me share my screen real quick. I would like to do that. I think it's this one. So let me talk a little bit more about the modality. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
So I know, Ada, did you seen a little bit of this already? But in general, so again, there's four pillars to the training. There's the quantum hypnosis portion, fifth dimensional psychology techniques, and galactic expansion healing, and then overall, and again, also the building of the practice and how to interact with the person, how to interview peers, how to ask the right questions, and also other things of like, okay, how to just basic ethics of being with a person. Okay, so in the quantum hypnosis portion, again, it goes into great detail about how to create that. And there's, I think, probably like 12 different scripts for each and every module. There's a script that you can follow, and then you can really combine them all into one. So here in the quantum hypnosis part, it's really developing, learning how the script works, what happens in it, what can you do with it, how to sound better, what to look for as a practitioner, and also really doing a lot more of obviously connecting with learning how to bring people and how to open their consciousness to get to that deeper level, deeper state, so they can do this connecting with other beings and experiencing their past lives and opening those thresholds, those veils that are there for our regular consciousness, and open further in that space. Okay. The fifth dimensional psychology, I called it that because it is, you can say, somewhat more regular psychology stuff like inner child and empowerment and ceremony of forgiveness and stuff like that. But I developed those techniques, and the idea is that it is done on a slightly different level and state of consciousness. So it is really wonderful to help people to gain and do things in a deeper level. So for example, a deep emotional release is something that I developed throughout the years. There's similar things out there, but this is something that's really powerful to help people even without going to deep levels of consciousness, and like learning what those emotions are about, what is about, what's behind it, what's the deeper emotions that are there, and what needs to be explored, and then really developing a deeper relationship with the self. So that's really important because people just don't know how to do it. There's nowhere that really teaches that. And what I noticed that a lot of regular techniques are like, here's the expert power of a healer, and the healer heals the client, and that's it. And it does all these tricks and techniques, and the person is healed. And in this modality, it's a lot about having the experience, having the person go through the experience of exploring and unraveling those emotions and unraveling those wisdom from inside of them. So it is really a beautiful way to really make that their journey a lot more impactful. So I'll give you an example of that. So if somebody tells you, oh, you had a past life as this and this person in some civilization somewhere across the world, it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't tell me much, doesn't feel like much, right? But if you actually go through that experience and really feel that, and go through some experiences and learn about that and feel the emotions that person felt, and the deeper lessons that come afterwards, that's okay. Yeah. Then it's a lot more impactful, a lot more really becomes a point of a peak of spiritual experience for that person. So it's moving into that idea of like the person needs to allow the wisdom, because this is an important part of the empowerment for the person. We are here to empower people, not just really, if you are telling them, I will heal you, you really are telling them you don't have the power to do it. But when you show them this is how you do it, and from now on you can do it for yourself, or I can guide you through it again, but you know how to do it, you've been through it, it's a lot more empowering for the person to go through their own journey of empowerment and expansion. So this is just a few of the philosophies and ideas of how I like to approach those things. Let me go back to that real quick. So so I'm sorry, I skipped over this a lot. So in the fifth dimensional, so a lot of what we do is a deep emotional release process, inner child work, and how to do it, and go through the whole script, and you learn how to do it with other people. Future self-empowerment, cycle of forgiveness, and inner calibration and alignment to better habits. So that could be really even just like lifestyle stuff. Now, I want to go back to eating healthier and do a good healthy routine in the morning of meditation and exercise. All right, let's work on that. Let's clear all the things that are in your way, all the belief, because it goes deeper than just like, here you go. It's let's clear any beliefs that are in your way, or any resistance you might have inside of you. So it really goes deeper and helps people to really shift in a deep way. And obviously, a lot of it is also conversational shifting. You can teach a lot of people by, and again, I teach that's the first class I do, is how to interview, what questions to ask to really bring the most from the person out, allow them to reveal. And through the process of speaking, what I hear a lot from people is like, wow, just speaking of it now, I realize that blah, blah, blah. So it really brings a lot of that stuff out from people when you know how to ask the right questions. So the next segment of it is galactic expansion and healing. And then this goes to deeper stuff, like going into a healing chambers and knowing where to do and where to bring them and how to do that. A lot of psychic surgery, if you heard of that. That is done by other enlightened beings that know how to do that kind of work. And you just learn how to guide them to that place. And so they can do that and experience really deep, profound experiences. Beyond that, it's a lot of stuff people ask for DNA activations. You probably hear that a lot. Crystalline body upgrades, downloads, integration, sacred geometry, all kinds of other gifts and stuff that people want to get. All of that can be received in the deeper galactic work from those beautiful enlightened beings. And we're going to go over details of how to connect with them, how to do it, meeting that team of beings that will work more closely to you. And but every time it's going to be a little different with every client, because the team of the healing teams that show up are particular to what the needs of that person is at that point. So the right experts show up. But it really is just about bringing the person to the level of consciousness, having them meet that people in those fifth and sixth dimensions, and having that experience. So that's what really takes place. Okay. So it's a beautiful experience. And again, just more general things of how to be a practitioner. It's having just basic ethics, our general approach of, excuse me, the non-judgment of people and how to show non-judgment in a positive way. Privacy, boundaries, how to help people in the best of way, and about your own path as well, and really clearing a lot of the stuff that people feel, because I know that a lot of people feel really uncomfortable with just having a training and then, okay, go to the world, do your thing. And with this program, we will have live sessions in which you'll be able to, first of all, talk directly to me, ask questions about that needs to be resolved based on the videos you already watched, and for the week. And then we go into practice. Okay, let's get the scripts out and let's practice on each other. Okay, so that's really, really nice to do that and have that ability to, first of all, experience it as a client and know how it feels and what you like about it, what you went through it. It's really important. And also as a practitioner and practicing it and see, wow, it actually works. And that's amazing to see, because people who have read the script for the first time have no clue, and seeing amazing results with the other person. So I always enjoy that. I always like to see let's see the feedback that people, when we're after a session, in practice session, we also do some feedback and some sharing. Okay, what was your experience? What came up? What happens? So it really is a very informative, and all your questions will be answered. It's a really important part. It's part of the live Q&A and practice sessions. Okay. So you really are studying in 6 different ways. First of all, you read, and again, because the idea is, we all have slightly different approaches and things how we absorb and process information. So we first of all read the information, then you watch the workshops that I have on the topic and how I teach it to the public, and experience yourself as part of that. And then you watch the actual class, which I teach the behind the scenes of how it's done, what to do, what to look for, how to handle a person. And then you do the practice sessions in which you can, first of all, answer the questions and then learn how it is to experience it yourself, and then practice it, and then getting the feedback afterwards, how you did, how did it go through. Because I also just kind of tap into, jump in and listen to how you're doing during the session. So I really kind of watch and perceive, just for glimpses of what's taking place in the session. And sometimes if you need some help, I can help. Okay. How are we doing so far?
Good.
Any questions?
How big are the courses usually?
Okay. By big, exactly what do you mean?
How many people do you expect will be in the group?
Usually it's a small group. My biggest group was 13 people. And usually it's like 5 to 8 people that show up. So and again, right now I do have some other people outside of you guys that are interested in that, and I haven't declared on any specific time or place, because I think it's something we can decide together what works for you guys. Okay.
And do we meet once a week or?
Yes, once a week. So the length of the program is designed to be 12 weeks. So again, you do the reading, you do watch the videos, and then go to the practice session. Okay. And every week we do that for the different topic and different module.
Okay.
All right. Let me show you real quick how it looks. Oh, that's not what I wanted to show. So you can look here in the actual Ascension Academy that this is under. This is the actual program. There's actually, by the way, more videos, testimonials, and more explanation videos about it if you want to go further. But it gives you, this is the actual course material. You can go inside and see how every module have its own pieces and what you learn from each one of them. It's basically corresponds to the manual. Passive regression, it's a lesson, an experience of the life, connecting with inner guidance, obviously very important, very needed right now. So that's actually the majority of my work, is really helping people connect with their guidance and their expanded consciousness levels. Merging with your greater being, higher self. Working with the metaphor, I actually developed a metaphor sheet, which puts all of this work into one kind of bullet point little sheet of all the metaphors, double sheeted. So if you forget, like, oh wow, what's the process I do for the inner child, and it's just in bullet points, give you the main points of what to follow. Okay, so you can have that sheet with you, so you don't have like to suddenly something comes up with a client, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go to the sheet and see what needs to be done, and like, oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, very helpful. And then all the different things: inner child, ceremony of forgiveness, realignment, galactic expansion, honing in on the galactic skills, and really developing again that relationship, opening that relationship with your healing team, and how to work with them, and then building the practice. Okay, so a regular session, it looks like this, like the videos, and I can just play it for a second. Sometimes when I select there's a break or there's a paragraph, there's a reason why there's a break in a paragraph. Just take a second, take 5 seconds, and give yourself a break from talking. Sometimes their imagery and their processing of their brain needs to catch up. Okay, when you go through, oh, now imagine the experience. So it just gives you an idea of how it works for the videos. And then again, it's really important, I think, to watch those feedback and sharing afterwards, because I give a lot more tips and answer questions that might be relevant for you as well. So it's really, really cool. And it goes through the modules, and it's a basic online course platform. Okay. And obviously the important part of this is again, because I keep the classes to a small size on purpose, is to that I make it very, very personal, very close, very personal. You can always ask me questions. You can always reach out to me, whether by I actually usually do a little WhatsApp group, and we can talk, ask questions, and some people like to set up sometimes additional times to train and practice, because like, hey, I want to do another inner child work. Hey, who's interested? And do that kind of stuff. So there's actually a nice little developing of a little community of students, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with that, which is fun to have. And again, most importantly is you also get some basically 10 free sessions of taking care of your stuff, clearing some of those things that you don't have to experience again. Okay, so because you really are healing and clearing yourself, and through the process of, and it becomes a bigger even part of your own journey of growth. Okay, very cool. Okay, so any questions?
Is Akashic Records in there too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and we do that as part of the script, because a lot of time I use actually the Akashic Record as part of actually even going into other things, like getting guidance or getting past life regression. That's the most effective method I have to get to past lives. So it uses the Akashic Record. You can stay there if you want to get some more information, or you can just continue on to past lives.
And then what's the difference between this course and the advanced course?
Oh, in the advanced course, I teach just additional tricks and techniques, you can say. So some of them are like, for example, clearing entities, how to retrieve soul fragments, which I think in shamanism you get some of that stuff. How to, and really a lot of more deeper skills as a practitioner. So it's more about learning how to really manage your energy with your client, how to feel and sense your client while you're working with them in a safe way, that you're not absorbing their stuff. So learning how to create a beautiful protective shield of light, and sending those feelers so you can, okay, I want to know everything I need to know about this person without really absorbing it in. And okay, what they're feeling, where they're at, and what they're experiencing right now. Of course, you have most importantly is the verbal feedback and visual feedback you have from the person, but you can also get the more psychic abilities, pretty much developing your extrasensory perception. and how to do it and how to tap into it. So that's a lot of the skills. I'm trying to think of anything else in it. Sorry, let me just have a quick look in that, seeing what's more. So it really just works on more skills and becoming a more powerful practitioner. But I'll be smarter in a second. Give me a second here. So yeah, so energetic boundaries and protection, linking with the client, what it says to cyclically connect with a client. And this is done remotely as well, of course. Oh, another really cool thing I teach in there is how to use spin technology. It's Arcturian healing methods. And advanced interdimensional travel, like how to build your own Merkaba so you can travel in further in higher dimensions and densities, and helping your client learn how to travel further. And eighth dimensional, because in the regular training, I teach about fifth and sixth dimensional healing chamber in a starship. And on the advanced, I teach how to do the eighth dimensional healing chamber in Arcturus. And then again, entity removal, soul retrieval, and that's about it. So it's a shorter class. It's only 7 classes, not 12 as this one, or as expanded as this one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Feel free.
No, but I'm kind of glad that we're having a conversation, because I feel like I had said yes to your class even before I knew all of this, because I was like, yes, I'll take whatever, the offering was. And so it was funny because I was like sitting there talking to Katie and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, as I'm starting the classes, I mean, I kind of understand it now anyways, as I'm starting the classes, but it's nice to like hear like actually the breakdown, because I said yes before I knew. So this is kind of nice to like actually see the whole breakdown in the way that you're just explaining it and stuff like that.
Cool.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy you showed up for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll just show up, but also like, it's great. I know that this is not part of it, but like, I saw on your website, like channeling and writing.
Oh yeah.
Could I ask that about?
I think I'm going to include it in part of just an additional training that needs to happen, because it is so important in my opinion. And I believe I included it for you. I will include it in the training, because it's a separate kind of a 3-hour workshop that I did. And in that, I teach how I basically started doing automatic writing, which is just really connecting with your guides and your and other beings and higher beings, again, in a safe way, and just writing or transcribing the conversation. So what's important about that is it's especially for writers, is to help in really have a physical proof of the conversation, but also something you can refer back to. So you can get parts. So I'll explain real quickly. So I wrote a book about 7-8 years ago. Well, it's 8 years ago by now, and half of it is channeled. Just about. So I just sat down in the morning. I had a regiment of every morning. I sit down at dawn and just like, okay, just what are we going to talk about today? And it's like, okay, today we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. And they just dictated to me most of the material. Okay. So that's a beautiful way to bring writing in a just a really profound and concise way, because they write so much more concisely than we would as humans. And the material is so much more, again, the wisdom that flows is so much more than us, definitely more than me. So it's beautiful, it's powerful, and it helps me. Actually, I do it every day. Here's another way I do it. Like this morning, I had two clients this morning, and I actually ask, what does that person need from me? What does that person need to experience today? What is in their highest good? And they give me some general guidance of what needs to happen in that session. even before it starts. So I can only have an idea of what needs to happen. Okay. So it's a really powerful tool, and it's a really powerful tool for me personally, because it's sometimes we lack the perspective. And when we have that information just coming down to us and helping us and motivating us and clearing, shifting our approaches, because sometimes we have our little negative approaches, we get stuck in our little ways. And just to get it like, hey, let's look at it this way. And they give you, your guides will give you a completely different approach to how to clear a lot of resistance or negativity or just struggle of like, okay, how do I handle this relationship? How do I handle this situation that is happening in my life? What is in my highest good? And they give you a much higher and more profound view and perspective of what needs to take place. So I really glad you brought it up, but I will probably include it in the bundle of for people, for students, because I find it that important, because I use it almost every day.
Yeah. I was just asking because, I do channeling with my ancestors,
Mhm.
but through my shamanic route. But lately I have been feeling really called to, I guess, just like write and journal about like things that are coming through to me anyway. So anyways, I just thought, yeah, it's kind of good. And also I think Graham can talk to that too, if he wants to,
About the channeling piece.
or the writing aspect too. The writer.
Yeah. Well, I do a similar thing. Like I have a dialogue pretty much every day with one specific entity. And I think I told you about this, Harry. Like, 10 years ago, I started channeling and I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a lot different back then. I mean, it was so dense. Like you say, it's just like so, there's like no emotion in it. There was no warmth. It was just like information, like really, really dense. And I remember I showed it to my wife back then, and she was just like, she's like, she thought it was actually like, dark matter, or, some sort of like not a good entity speaking to me. She was scared of it, in other words. But that went away for like 7 years and it's just coming back now. So yeah, obviously I'm interested in this as well.
Very cool. Yeah, it's really important, and I talk about as well of how to discern whether who you are connecting with is in your highest good or not.
I was going to ask you that. So when you're channeling in the morning, are these beings who help you in the healing process as well, or do you have like a specific, this is my channel?
It's different beings for different purposes. So when I see it as different levels of connection of separation from me, and that's not separation, but like just how far they are from my life. So for my day-to-day life, and I said like those things that I need to. So I have some of my closest, which is really a higher aspect of myself. Really, it's not like as a separate spirit guide. Um, that speaks to me, that have the perspective of what needs to take place and what's out. And some of it are my guides, because I can feel sometimes it's a more feminine energy and sometimes it's a more male energy. So there's a few of them that are kind of, especially like 3 of them that work closely with me a daily basis. And then if I look for information, I'm like, okay, I would like to connect with a certain light council of of a certain information that needs to come through. And that's, I can feel it. It's a much higher level that I need to go to. I need to open myself and reach a higher vibration in order to connect with them. And so I need to work on a little more. About the other beings, I can just close my eyes and connect, just like Ada was saying that you have with your grandpa. I can just hear and connect right away. But to get those higher beings that have a greater perspective, again, I don't want to say it's a higher dimension or density, it's just a greater perspective on everything. And that's a beautiful thing. So before I created this quantum healing methods, I basically I had a light council. So like, okay, here we are, a council of masters, and I put some of that information in the training as they just some quotes, and said like, okay, we like to speak to students directly, and I just put that quote directly in the training of how they would like for students to see it and perceive things. So it's a different source of information for where it comes from. Those masters that have completely mastered, that's why they call it Council of Masters, the whole process of ascension, and and they are helping me and helped me create this body of work. It's like, okay, that's it. We need to share it with the masses, share it with people who are ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's a very profound source of everything that comes through, and a lot of the information techniques that I developed through working with thousands of people. Not just again by formal education, but really just experiencing and having this. Oh wow, this is really effective and much better than that or this. So I kind of put the best. So this training is kind of the best of in order to bring forth like really the most effective and powerful techniques, so you can have the breadth of knowledge to come forth. All right. Oh, cost. It's the cost is $1,800 for the basic training. The advanced is $777, and you can pay in 3 payments if that is needed as well. I don't charge extra for that, so just know that. And people who listen to it afterwards, you can do 3 payments of 600. Something that's a little more reachable for a lot of people. Okay.
So here,
And yeah, go ahead.
so that's the base, the healing and channeling, and then the quantum
Yeah,
healing.
quantum. Yes, quantum
and
methods.
the
Yes.
advanced. So 3.
Well, no, the advance is separate.
I see.
Yeah. So, but I will include in the regular training as additional bonus the automatic writing.
Got it.
Very good. Thank you for clarifying that. So starting date, we can choose when we're going to start this. Because right now, again, I don't have a lot more people because I just kind of launched it really quickly. But I think a few things we can start it like in 2-3 weeks, whatever works for you. If you want to do that, let me know what works, and you can do it in the evening like this one, or in the morning, or afternoon, what works best for you. Okay. So we don't have to do that right now, but let me know and we can determine what will be the best. Until now, I did them on a Sunday, and that was good in some ways because I was able to reach some people who are other time zones in Europe and in Africa and all that kind of stuff. But it could be a little difficult sometimes because especially now in the summer, on the weekends, people are just not here. So we're going to do it during the week. So we can pick a day like whatever, Thursday, and we can determine what time is best for everybody, and we can do those live sessions. Okay. So I will do another, again, the second one on Saturday. Hopefully more people show up for that, and I'll get a consensus and an idea of who wants what, when, and where, and we'll get some things going.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anything else? If you have any questions, you can reach out to me in by email or text, whatever it is. That's not a problem. Or messenger. Please reach out if any other questions that you forgot to ask right now. Okay. All right. And let me know.
Are you gonna have like do you have like a recommended reading list that's apart from the course?
Well, the manual is like close to 200 pages, so you'll have some reading to do, and I try to bring all the relevant information into one place that I'm showing you. It's a lot. It's 200 pages, so it is large print, but there's a lot to read in there, and it's important to. It's very, very dense, as you said before. There's a lot of information. It's very deep and profound. If you need to, you probably need to read it more than once. Okay. Because it goes deep, and you can see that in the videos I did, the live classes that I did. It's a lot more than just what it says, because it's the most concise it can be. I would keep it to that because you need to focus.
Sure.
It'll be intense. Okay,
Sounds
it'll
good.
be because the reading, and you need to watch all the videos, take notes, and then the practice sessions. So it's actually quite a bit. It's actually quite a bit.
You thinking about like 10 hours a week? What do you think?
Just about, yes, just about.
All
Okay.
right.
And I also have, just to you can get the information slightly a different way. I have videos from previous classes as well on it, so you can watch it and listen to it in different ways. Sometimes I talk about different things based on the questions that people have. So you can see in the classes that different questions pop up, and I address that. So you can do that and listen to that information in a different way. So there's a lot of it's in videos, but that's convenient because you can do that and watch stuff and listen to it. But focus on that because there's a lot in it. There's a lot of it's profound. Okay. And if you want to read something more than once, for the fun of it, is read the scripts. That's really important because the more you read the scripts, the more comfortable you'll become in delivering it and hearing it and seeing it. And you can hear me do it as you read it, so you can see how I do it, what emphasis I do, how it. So this is what you need to focus on in this training. There's a lot of kind of innuendos and things that are subtleties that need to be noticed.
And you're training on quantum. Sorry, got a call coming in. You're the training, the quantum hypnosis. It's based on Dolores Cannon's work as well.
Some of that is based on her stuff. Generally, in the principle of it, I was trained by Dolores Cannon, but I took it and did it in my way. So my script, it's a different script, but a lot of the principles I learned from her are based on that. But I had so much more training. I have a master's in psychology. I have done hypnosis training starting 25 years ago, 26 years ago by now. So it's been I've trained with 5 different hypnosis schools, life coaching, NLP, energy healing of different levels, 5th-dimensional energy hills, and the Reiki and everything. So it's a compilation of all of my knowledge and, again, the experience of doing it with thousands of people, and bringing and distilling it into this body of work.
Sure.
Okay. Beautiful. Perfect ending. So thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks.